All right, so today I'm going to show you the cross-country planning software and my navigation software that I use for all my trips. It is the iFly EFB electronic flight board, formerly known as the iFly GPS, and it is very similar to a couple other major flight planning softwares out there, but this is a great product. I've been using it for years. It's got a lot of neat features in it, and thought I'd just take you along on how I build one from scratch. And you might check out this and see if this is some software you'd like to use. So, what's really neat about the iFly EFB is I'm running right now on Windows, and it's the identical same setup. Everything looks identically the same as it does on my tablet, as it does on my phone. So you don't have to learn different platforms and different setups. It all looks the same. So I'm on my desktop planning this, and right here is the icon where my plane is right now, and this thing is fully customizable. So it's synced between the different devices, so this is kind of what I'll see in the cockpit as well. So where the plane is my current location here at the house, and the Morristown Mike Oscar Romeo is the airport I'll be leaving from. So I'm going to show you. We will be flying down to St. Simon's or St. Simone's Island, and that's right here, Sierra, India. And so I will just click on it, and I'll go over here to flight planning, and I'm going to fly directly there. So there you can see the route. Okay, and I'm not going to be obviously leaving from my house, so I'm just going to rubber band it. That's what one thing neat about this over to my departure airport. I'm going to put it in there. Now, there's several ways you can go about planning a flight, and I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of regulations and all that kind of stuff. But the first setup I'm going to do is by hand. Okay, so I'm just going to browse my route here, and I can see a couple of issues with the route already. One is I'm over some really high terrain right here. Secondly, it looks like, as far as airspace goes, I'm going to brush into this restricted area right here. And as I'm coming down here, there's another large restricted area, two of them. Okay, so I'm going to have some issues. So the first thing I'm going to start with is up here. I'm going to start at the beginning of the route and look at terrain. Now, what's the best way to get through this terrain? Well, there's a really neat feature. You can go in here to flight plan, okay, and you can see that there's no altitude set. All right, so you can either hit set altitude here or hit the altitudes. And if you come to set altitude, you can set your cruising altitude here. But I don't know exactly what that is, so I'm going to hit altitudes here. And this is going to bring up a ton of information, including weather, clouds, winds, terrain. And you can see here, it's telling me that about 7,500 is one route to clear all terrain. But I'm going to go here, options, and I'm going to set altitude on map. Now, what pops up over here is a little flight plan thing, and you're going to see that as I drop my altitude of my flight, the terrain's going to start shading. So this will start to reveal, as you come in here, that where your highest and lowest areas are. And as you could tell right here, and I've discussed this in other videos, there's like a pathway through the mountains. Okay, so knowing that, I'm going to rubber band this over here like so, and we're just going to go about there. Okay, so now I know that if I fly, and you want to hit it till all that terrain's out of your way there, it looks like around 5,000 feet I'm going to clear. Okay, so we'll start with that. Now, I'll go ahead and close that, and it's showing this right here, and we'll go ahead and close this window for now. And this is the flight plan as it's set up, showing I got 376 miles. And I'm going to look now at the rest of it. Looks like I'm going to brush the Asheville class Charlie, and this is up to whether you want to deal with air traffic control or avoid that. But having flown this route before, I know it's easier just to talk to Asheville than to try to go over these ridges. Oops, didn't mean to drag that. So we're going to come down here. Now I can see that we've got a class Delta here. We don't need to fly through that. So I'm going to look around and just see what else we've got. And it looks like we've got the Augusta here as well. So, you know, I can either fly right between the Delta and the restricted under this, but I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I'm just going to rubber band this thing. I'm going to bring it down here to this airport. So I can avoid this area of restricted, stay out of the Tersa. And then I'm going to come on down here, and you can see I got this other two big areas. So I'm going to rubber band it. And I'm just going to put this airport in here as a waypoint. And now it looks like I've cleared all the restricted areas and other air traffic control areas that I don't really need to fly through. Okay? So there, as you have it, that is one way of setting it up. And it looks like it's a total distance of 377 miles. Now you can go over here to map mode and turn on fuel prices. And at a glance, you can see along your route where it's got good fuel prices. So it looks like I got a $4.95 right here. That might be worth doing. $5.14. Oops. And you could see about 271 miles to that generally. So I try to stay under 300 for a fuel stop. Around 250, 2 to 250 is ideal. But you can see that I do have some options. So we've got a 525 at 180 miles. And a lot of this I can just plan to change as I go along. So that's one option. But here's another really neat one. Okay, so we're going to come back in here, and I'm going to go ahead and clear this out, and we're going to start over. So again, I'm going to go down here to St. Simon's Island, go in here, fly directly to there, come back up here. So there I've got that. Got my original route where I'm taking off and where I'm landing. But what's neat is you could come in here, and IFly has got a really cool feature. You'll come into your flight plan, hit more options, and you're going to come down here and it's going to say real plan. And then you're going to come in here and you're going to decide when you're going to leave. And let's just, for instance, say that tomorrow morning we're going to leave, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. I can fly through MOAs, but I want to avoid warnings, alert, restricted, prohibited, Class B, Class C, and Class Delta. I'm going to go ahead and leave all that selected that I want to avoid all that. I want to go ahead and find fuel stops. And the minimum time of fuel, I want to leave it as, I like to leave about an hour and a half, so I'm going to leave it at 90 minutes. Okay, and I already have my aircraft set up in here. I'm going to have my starting fuel as 22 gallons. And my max fuel, we'll just do the same. Then you can select the highest you want to fly, and I'm going to go ahead and put it at 65 as a 5,500. I guess I'll leave that alone. That's as high as I want to fly, and the minimum I'm willing to be above the ground is 1,500. And then you select whether you want to avoid water and if you're ADS-B equipped. And then you'll go down here and hit Real Plan, and it's going to sort out all kinds of options based on winds and all that. And look at that. It's telling me based on all this, it's going to cost me with the fuel stop $175, 327 miles to get down there. And I'm going to burn 27.1 gallons. It's going to take me 5 hours and 15 minutes based on the winds in the morning that are forecast. And you can kind of see the route that it picked. It looks like based on that, it picked a route that was a little bit shorter, which was taking at a lower area around through the mountains here. And you can decide whether you want it to do that or not. You can see it avoided that restricted. It's telling me this 495 is the cheapest, best place to get gas, and it's avoiding all this restricted, taking me down there. So pretty neat how that works. Then the other thing that you could do is hit your flight plan again and see your altitudes. And you can see that it's got us going through some clouds and the different altitudes that it has selected, et cetera, et cetera. And IFR right up here's your flight rules. So you can tell that, you know, you're going to have some issues on this route, but with visibility, and it looks like in the morning it's going to be really no good for flying based on conditions. Looks like it's going to be some fog hanging around until we get up near our fuel stop, and then it'll be VFR the rest of the way down there. So all kinds of features packed into this. It takes a while to learn about everything, but you can see you could check off your clouds, turn on and off the airspaces. I don't have any. The flight conditions up there, surface visibility, low ceilings. You can see that you got some really low ceilings through a good chunk of this. Your cloud coverage and the altitudes they're at. So pretty cool how that works. But you can also see, depending on when I leave, you could slide this around and get an idea of how the flight conditions will improve. It looks like things around tomorrow at around noon start to improve quite a bit. Still got some IFR up here on this side of the mountains. It looks like it's mostly VFR, a little marginal, but it looks like then the rest of the route gets socked in. You can tell as that front starts moving, then we got another batch of weather moving in. But so that's it in a nutshell. Several different ways of doing it. I hope you enjoyed this little video on what I use, and we'll see you on the next one.